What's up, everybody? It is Mars Sports. It's your boy Marshall. Today we have we've got predictions for week 3 of the college football season. Week 2 was absolutely crazy. Let's just take a look at some of these games. This one, I'm just gonna start with my favorite team. Um, let's just say our defense looked good, but to be honest with you, I thought we would have performed a lot better in my opinion. But hey, credit to Louisiana Tech's defense, man. They got a great defense, so yeah. I mean, I guess they shut out Southeast Louisiana last week, so yeah. Some of these other games, actually, we'll go over some of these other games actually in week 3. But yeah, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna try to cut this down to under an hour because I assume y'all staying for a long time. But good news for that part of it, we have a lot of bye week teams this week. So you have the U.S. Army who's off. We have Army who's off, who just got a win against Kansas State after losing to FCS Tarleton State. So clearly something changed over there. BYU, who beat Stanford last night. Boise State, Colorado State, Florida State, James Madison, Kansas, Louisiana Monroe, Louisville, Miami, Ohio, NIU, Oklahoma State, Sam Houston State, San Diego State, San Jose State, UCF, UNLV, Washington, and Western Kentucky are all off this week. So yeah, but we got a lot of games still. I think we cut this down to under an hour. So yeah. Anyways, let's do this. So, starting off with NC State versus Wake Forest. Yes, this is actually an in-conference game for North Carolina State this time, as they beat Virginia yesterday in technically a non-conference game. By that, it does not count towards their conference record. So, NC State looking decent, I will say. I mean, they got a good win against not West Virginia. They got a good win against Virginia. But yeah, they're 2-0 right now, so that's something to be proud of, at least for them. And they're taking on Wake Forest, who after a very shaky game against Kennesaw State beats up Western Carolina. So at least some stability's coming there. So yeah, but overall, I do think North Carolina State's gonna win this game. I just think they're the better team right now. Yeah. 74% go themselves. Plus, I don't really trust the team that almost lost to Kennesaw State. So, yeah. We'll see, though. Now, on Friday, we got Indiana State versus Indiana. Indiana State's 2-0 right now as they got wins against whoever that is. I can't. What that is. In Eastern Illinois. So they're off to a good start to this season. They're taking on... Good Lord, I'm sorry. In Indiana, who's 2-0 once again. They beat up Kennesaw State yesterday as they finally get some. As after kind of a shaky game against Old Dominion, they look really good against Kennesaw State. So yeah, but it's Kennesaw State though. But yeah, at least you're not Wake Forest level. Yeah, I'm gonna take Indiana in this game. 89% good as well. I just don't trust the same team that got shot by Purdue last year to even come close. So yeah, because that was the only win Purdue got all year last year. I got Colgate, Syracuse. Colgate with a rough start of the season, losing 2 in a row to Monmouth and Villanova. 2 close games, but still. They're taking on Syracuse, who made a heck of a comeback against UConn. I mean, that's a good UConn team. So they got their first win yesterday. So yeah, but I'm going to go Syracuse to win. And a whopping 97% go with them as well. Colorado versus Houston. Colorado... They got their first win yesterday of the season. It was against new FBS newcomer Delaware. So I think got something going there. They're taking on Houston, who's actually been off to a great start. They beat up San why can't I say San Francisco? Stephen F. Austin, and they beat up their rival Rice, their in-city rival Rice. So yeah, but he's off to looking like a good start to the season. But there's that. Now this is actually a tough one to pick because I think either of these teams can win. But it's at home for Houston. This is a tough one. It gets tougher when these in-conference games come around. It's like a lot closer competition. It's just Houston hasn't really played anyone yet, to be fair. I'll go Colorado. 47% go with them. Actually, no, I don't feel confident to pick. Give me Houston. 53% go with them as well. It could be either one of those. That's a tough one to pick. Now we got Kansas State versus Arizona here. And this is like the NC State Virginia game. It looks like an in-conference game, but does not count towards their in-conference record because this scenario, these two scheduled when the matchups with each other when Arizona's still in the Pac-12. So I'm sorry, guys. That's a snot on me. So I guess the Big 12 didn't want to interfere with that, like make him find another Power 4 opponent to play. So here we are. Kansas State has, oh my God, they've looked rough, bro. Like that close game against Iowa State might be their right spot this season. They almost lost to North Dakota, and they lost to Army, who lost to FCS Tarleton State the week before. So yeah, and they host, and it's not like they went on the road to Army. They literally hosted the Army. So yeah. Arizona, on the other hand, they beat Weber State yesterday. I believe that game was delayed slightly. Or maybe I'm thinking of a different one. There's a lot of games that were delayed yesterday, to be fair. Yeah. But this will be a Friday night game. Arizona actually is undefeated, but they really haven't played anyone yet, so it's the only concern. But Kansas State just looks so bad right now. I'm going to go Arizona. 58% go with them as well. New Mexico versus UCLA. New Mexico, they got their first win this season against Idaho State. It's Idaho State, like they get to UNLV, give them a good game. Or a decent game at least, yeah. But New Mexico, got some momentum going their way as they're taking on UCLA, and UCLA does not look very good. Losses to Utah and freaking UNLV. UNLV, I knew would be a good team this year, but man, bro, I thought UCLA would win that game, but Nico Yamaliava sucks, bro. He literally should have never left Tennessee. But I mean, I honestly helped Tennessee because I think they're actually better off without him, in my opinion. But yeah, give me UCLA, I think they'll win it. 75% go with them, so I think they'll beat New Mexico. Now here we go, Saturday, 11 in the morning, 9 a.m. for people in Oregon. We have Oregon taking on Northwestern. Oregon put up a heck of a show against Oklahoma State yesterday. That's one of the most lopsided blowouts I've ever seen for like a power opponent taking a power opponent. That just, like, I thought Georgia TCU was bad, bro. Oh my God, Oregon may even look worse. Oh man, Oregon, they're a really good team. And yes, Oklahoma State sucks. So yeah, because Oklahoma State looks awful, bro. I'm just telling you, 69 nice points. And then that is actually crazy. So Oregon looking like a really good team, especially against a Power 4 opponent. Yes, it's Oklahoma State, but like that's a really good team right there. They're taking on Northwestern, which Preston Stone actually looked good yesterday. He got 3 touchdowns. Yes, it was against Western Illinois. And his first game looked really shaky. So maybe against an upper momentum, I mean, it can't really get any worse for him individually. But I'm still going to go Oregon to win this game. 88% go to them as well. Just Northwestern's not going to, not on the same level as Oregon. Clemson, Georgia Tech here. Clemson, I'll tell you what, they struggled against Troy yesterday. They were down 16-3 at half, and then they made a comeback at least, so it makes LSU's ranking look more stable. But Clemson struggled against. I think LSU took a lot of juice out of them, so I think that's part of it. And Troy can be a tough team. I mean, they beat LSU a few years ago, and they beat Nebraska, of course, a few years ago. That's when Nebraska sucked, but still. Clemson looked good to end that game, but like they didn't get off to a faster start, especially against a team like Georgia Tech, who's actually, I think, one of the more underrated teams in the country. They beat up Gardner-Webb yesterday. As expected, they're undefeated. I think they could be a dark horse in ACC this year. But with that being said, I do think Clemson's going to win. Oh my God. 50-50. That is crazy, bro. I think Georgia Tech could for sure win this game, especially if they're hosting it. 50-50 is crazy. Is it? No. Is this actually real? Wow. That is incredible. Wow. I did not expect that. I thought it'd be like more like 70-30. But hey, man, credit to Georgia Tech, and they're a good team. And Clemson did not play very good against Troy yesterday, so I still have that part too. Yeah, but that is crazy. I didn't expect that. Now we have Central Michigan versus Michigan in-state matchup. Central Michigan, they beat San Jose State, but then they lost the Pitt by a lot. The game was kind of close early, then Pitt pulled away. So there's that. Sorry, there's a lot of snot. And got Michigan who just lost to OU, and their offense still not looking very good. I mean, you do have true freshman and true fraud in Bryce Underwood starting. So I mean, there's going to be growing pains with that. But Yeah, but that offense, they're honestly come more like a bit more polished version of Iowa at this point. Yeah. But overall, I think Michigan's going to win this game. 88% got them as well. I still think they're a good team. Speaking of, we have Oklahoma going on the road to Temple, so they'll be playing at Lincoln Financial Field. That'll be interesting. John Mateers made that offense actually look serviceable for once. Oklahoma got a big win against Michigan yesterday, being about 11 points. So Oklahoma looking like a good team this year. I don't know where to be ranked in the AP poll, but I guess at least top 15. And they're taking on a Temple team that is undefeated. I mean, they beat the crap out of UMass and Howard. So I mean, those are not really great opponents, but still. Temple actually looking up this year. But I do think OU's going to win this game. 83% of them as well. I know it's a road game, but still. Very weird road game. Now we got Wisconsin taking Alabama. Wisconsin is undefeated. I mean, shutout against Miami of Ohio. And yes, they looked very slow to start the game, but they beat Middle Tennessee State with 42 unanswered, I believe. So, yeah. I was like, Middle Tennessee's actually competing with them after they lost to Austin P. What's up? Yeah. Wisconsin, though, they're taking on Alabama. And Alabama beat the living breaks off of Louisiana Monroe yesterday, as they were clearly not very happy about that Florida State loss. But still, Alabama's still very sketchy. I do have a weird feeling they're going to make a comeback because I'm an LSU fan, and I know Alabama very well. But, yeah, I do think Alabama's going to win this game. 61% got them as well. But Wisconsin, please beat them, bro. That would be amazing. Use your defense, bro. Because at least you have that. Got Towson versus Maryland. Towson on a really hot streak. I mean, they've won many games in a row if you go back to last season. They even beat Michael Vick in his coaching debut. But taking on Maryland, who's actually undefeated to start off. And yes, they played FAU and NIU, but still. Maryland, I think it could be a decent team this year. I'll take them to win this game. 94% got them as well. It's FCS team, so yeah. Okay, William Mary versus Virginia. William Mary had a close win against Maine yesterday, I guess. But definitely a little bit of a could be inconsistent. Like they beat Bryant and then they lost to Elon and shut up at Richmond and in the last season. And they lost to Furman to start the season. So, yeah, but they're taking on a Virginia team who actually is looking actually decent. I mean, they lost to NC State yesterday, but one that doesn't count towards their conference record, ironically. And two, they still got a lot looking up for them, I think. Chandler Morris is a good quarterback. He was great at UNT last year. So, yeah, but I'll take Virginia to win this game. 95% got them, as I think they'll probably beat them up by a good amount. Now we got Houston Baptist. What's I think Houston something. Houston Baptist, Houston Christian University taking on Nebraska. Houston. We'll call them Houston Christian. I think Houston Baptist used to be their name, but yeah, they lost to East Kentucky, and then but they beat Arkansas Baptist by 69 nice to nothing. So yeah, but Houston Baptist. I mean, I'm sorry, Houston Christians just throw me off. I'll say Houston Christian. Houston Christian. I think they could be getting decent in the FCS this year, but they're taking on a Nebraska team who destroyed Akron yesterday with 68 to nothing. So. Yeah, but I'm gonna go Nebraska. They're probably gonna destroy them, honestly. Now, only 82% go with them. I'm actually a little shocked. It's 82, not like 95. What do I know? I got Buffalo taking on Kent State. Buffalo got a very big win, a very lopsided win yesterday against St. Francis. So good stuff there. And they definitely look like a dark horse in the MAC this year. They're taking on a Kent State team who's already having a better season than last year. But they got destroyed by Texas Tech. Let's be completely real. So, Kent State still not looking great, obviously. But, I mean, hey, could be worse. But give me Buffalo. 75% go with them as well. Now we got Samford versus Baylor. Samford has been destroyed in their first two games. So, not looking very good. Remember, this is the team that nearly beat Florida a few years ago. They're taking on Baylor, who got a big win against SMU yesterday. After beat down 38-24 in the fourth quarter. They scored 2 touchdowns, and they rallied to overtime, and they win the game. So, congrats to Baylor. Baylor definitely looking like one of those teams that could win the Big 12 this year. So, lots of good stuff going there. Sawyer Robertson is a really good quarterback, and I think they'll be really good in the Big 12 this year. So, that's just some of these other Big 12 teams that I can't really trust anymore. So, yeah, give me Baylor. 94% go with them as well. I think they're avenging their Auburn loss pretty well so far. Now we got Memphis at Troy. Memphis is looking like a great team again this year. Beat their first 2 runs as Chattanooga, Georgia State, but still looking very good, very hot streak. They haven't lost the game in a long time. Yeah, they're taking on a Troy team who actually gave Clemson a run for their money yesterday, but then Clemson came out in the second half. So yeah, Troy though, they could be giant killers. I mean, like I said, they beat LSU years ago. So yeah, but I will say I do think Memphis is the better team. 82% got them as well. We got South Alabama taking on Auburn. South Alabama nearly beat Tulane yesterday, which is actually very shocking considering how good Tulane has been. But like South Alabama, man, maybe I mean they definitely be a decent team this year, especially in the Sun. But yeah, they're taking on an Auburn team who's undefeated so far. They have wins against Baylor and Ball State, so things looking up for them. Jackson Arnold had some good moments this season. So yeah, we'll see what happens there, but I think Auburn's gonna win this game. 90% go with them as well. Now we got New Hampshire taking on Ball State. New Hampshire is 2-0 right now as they beat NC Central and Holy Cross. They're taking on a Ball State team who hasn't won a game in a long time. So they got shot by Purdue and they got beat up by Auburn. So not looking great, but I do think Ball State will actually get a win. 79% go with them as well. Now we got UConn, Delaware. UConn nearly beat Syracuse yesterday. What a game that was. They unfortunately choked it away. So, yeah, but definitely looking like a great team again this year, especially for their standards. But I think UConn's definitely on the up and up, and they're taking on Delaware, who just lost to Colorado yesterday. But I mean, they're new to the FBS, so obviously it's to be some growing pains. But I think they could be solid to USA. But I do think UConn's going to win 77% go with them as well. Villanova versus Penn State. Villanova, I mean, they beat Colgate and then they lost to Incarnate Word, of course, in week 1. But wait, that wasn't actually that only have one. Actually, that was last season when they lost to Incarnate Word. But they beat Colgate in the first game. I guess they had a bye week last week. I don't know. Yeah, but they're taking on Penn State, who what's going on? So they're taking on Penn State, who I think I argue they underperformed against FIU, but I mean but the score actually doesn't look too bad. I mean they shut out FIU, so I'll give them that. But I do think Penn State will win this game. 86% got them as well. Now we got Georgia taking on Tennessee, where college game day is going this next week. Georgia looked very, very shaky against Austin Peay. Yes, Austin Peay beat Middle Tennessee State, but still, I thought they'd do a much better job. But Georgia's weird, bro. They usually start kind of slow. They'll have some really good games. They'll underperform in some games, but in the big games, they'll do really good. So, yeah. But Georgia, either way they win, it seems like. Georgia, though, I mean, some questions to be answered. They haven't really played any good teams yet. As Marshall, yes, I know they won the Sun Belt last year, but they just lost to Missouri State, so they lost a lot of people. So yeah, they're taking on Tennessee, who I think Tennessee is actually looking like a really good team this year. They beat Syracuse and they beat the crap out of East Tennessee State. So yeah, there's that. Now, who I think's gonna win this game? Georgia's on this rivalry for years. I'm gonna go with them. 55% go with them. I do kind of hope Tennessee wins this game. Now I got SMU going on the road to Missouri State. What a weird game, bro. But what do I know? SMU looked good in their game yesterday until they choked it away. Their defense definitely gave up a lot of points. That's part of the reason they lost, because they couldn't hold off Baylor and then they lost the game. So SMU definitely dealing with a loss. That was, I mean, I predicted Baylor to win. I predicted Baylor to win that game. So I mean, I'm not too shocked it happened. But SMU though, I think they'll still be a great team. But I mean, that defense needs to be fixed. That defense needs to improve. That's for sure. Take on Missouri State, who they got their first wins FBS program yesterday. So both them and Delaware did it faster than Kennesaw State did last year. So yeah, but Missouri State, I mean, hey man, they might get a few wins. I don't know, but I don't think they're going to compete with SMU. I think SMU wins. 80% go with them as well. Oregon State, Texas Tech. I'll be honest. Oregon State looks terrible, bro. Lost to Cal, lost to Fresno State. not looking good for the Beavers. This is what happens when everyone ditches you and leaves you in the conference. You can't do it. Malik Murphy, who's actually decent with Duke last year. They're taking on Texas Tech, who, they haven't really played anyone yet. They play Pine Bluff and Kent State, but, they're 2-0 right now. They definitely look like one of the more stable teams in this conference at this point, yeah. But I do think Texas Tech will win. 84% got them as well. They just got such a good team this year. I got Richmond taking on North Carolina. Richmond, at their close loss to Lehigh, they beat Wofford in a close game. So, at least they're come off a win right there. They're taking on North Carolina, which Bill Belichick finally won his first game. It was against Charlotte. It was like 20-3, but still. It's got to go up, I imagine. But North Carolina, definitely a weird start to the season after the blowout loss against TCU. But they get a win yesterday, and I do think they will beat Richmond. 89% go with them as well. They got Norfolk State taking on Rutgers. Norfolk State, hey, man, Michael Vick's their coach. Maybe do something. They lost to Towson, but they beat Virginia State in a close game yesterday. So, there's that. They're taking on Rutgers. Rutgers team who's undefeated. After a close game, Ohio, who beat West Virginia, by the way. They beat up Miami, Ohio. So, I feel looked better in their game yesterday. So, I do think Rutgers will win. 91% go with them as well. Also, can the Big Ten please play real teams at this point? So most of the Big Ten teams don't even schedule anything. Anyone real, bro. Or anyone that's like on their level. I got Pitt versus West Virginia, the backyard brawl. Pitt looks really good. They beat up Duquesne and Central Michigan. And they're taking a West Virginia team that just lost to Ohio yesterday. So, not looking great there. And plus, they had injury to one of their best players. So, and that's going to hurt a bit. But Rich Rodriguez, he's got a lot to build off on that team. Because, to be fair, lots of new on that team. I kind of knew they'd be in rebuild. So, yeah. But give me Pitt to win this game. They're the better team. Really? It's 52%? That's it? I guess West Virginia is hosting it. So, yeah. Youngstown State taking on Michigan State. Youngstown State, they beat Mercyhurst. They beat up Robert Morris, man. That's a blowout. Dang. They're taking out Michigan State, who's undefeated so far. They beat West Michigan and beat Boston College in a crazy game. So, Michigan State definitely could be looking up. I think they'll start 3-0. I think they'll win this game. 86% go with them as well. Moving on to USC versus Purdue. USC, they look great. They've scored a combined total. Oh, my God. Yeah, their defense, I don't know about the defense yet, but it's USC. They're not going to have a defense, let's be real. USC, what's 59? Okay. 60. What's 73 plus 59? Plus 12. So they've scored a combined total of 132 points to start the season. That is actually insane. They're taking on Purdue, who already has more success this season than last year because they already beat their win total from last year, 2-0. Yeah, they played Ball State, Southern Illinois, but still definitely better than last year, that's for sure. Give me USC, though. 69% go with them as well. We'll see about their defense, though. Just saying, because you can never trust Lincoln Riley in defense. I got Morgan State taking on Toledo. Morgan State has lost their first two games. A close game against Towson, but still, they didn't look terrible against South Alabama, but they're taking on Toledo team who. How the heck did more people pick Western Kentucky over Toledo, bro? They're just based off records. Toledo is a much better team, bro. I'm telling you, they almost beat Kentucky, and they're gonna be a serious contender in the MAC this year. See, I do think Toledo's gonna win. Nice, 96% go with them. Good lord. Now actually, everyone's respecting Toledo. Oh my God. Northwestern State and Cincinnati. Northwestern State got absolutely brutalized by Minnesota yesterday. It was literally 59-0 at halftime, and then once Minnesota scored again, they just laid off the rest of the game. Yeah, it was 66-0 in the third quarter. They literally could have scored 100 if they wanted to. That is actually terrible, bro. Oh, Northwestern State. But hey, at least they won a game, so I'll give them that. So already better than last season. What do I know? Taking on Cincinnati, who beat Bowling Green yesterday. Bowling Green actually did not give them too bad of a game, at least. Bowling Green is known for at least at some points giving like close games to Power 4 opponents. I mean, they did that against Penn State and Texas A&M last year. So, yeah, if they won those games, man, it would change the outcome of that season for them. But I'll take Cincinnati. 94% go with them as well. Oh, yeah, Wazoo taking on North Texas. Wazoo wins their game against San Diego State. It definitely looked a lot better against Idaho. So, I mean, lots of stuff that they actually improved on. So, they looked much better in their game yesterday. They're taking on North Texas, who made a heck of a comeback yesterday against Western Michigan, because they're down by like 2 scores, and then they made a comeback, went to overtime, and beat Western Michigan. So, shout out to the Mean Green. So, yeah, they're definitely clutched up yesterday in that game. So, yeah, but who I think is to win this game? North Texas, I mean, I could see them winning this game, but Washington State actually looks a lot more if they played this last week, I would have picked North Texas. But I think Washington State's going to win this game. 68% go with them as well. But who knows? I mean, Wazoo definitely looks better, though, I will say. Now I got Incarnate Word taking on UTSA. Incarnate Word got their first win this season against Eastern Washington? Oh, yeah, they played in week 0. I forgot about that. They lost to Nichols, of course, but they're taking on UTSA team who's 0-2. But, man, 2 close losses to well, not really close in A&M, but at least they played well in that game. But really close game against Texas State yesterday. So definitely a lot of stuff to be excited for. But I mean, they don't even have a shot at like win the AAC this year. They have to win out at this point. Well, or the playoffs. I don't think they make the playoffs with 2 losses, but still. Maybe could contend for the AAC, but I think UTSA will win this game. 91% go with them as well. But to be fair, they've played 2 tough opponents. Yeah. Oh my God, Iowa State taking on Arkansas State. Iowa State, you know, if you have the best records in college football, Iowa State's won every game this season. They beat their rival Iowa yesterday, so lots to be excited about there. They're taking on Arkansas State, who got brutalized by well, not quite brutalized, I will say, because like brutalized what happened to Northwestern State and Oklahoma State yesterday. But Arkansas State got beat up by Arkansas as expected. Arkansas is the better team in that state, but yeah. But I mean, Iowa State's going on the road, so that might be a potential something to watch out for. But I think Iowa State's going to win. 85% of them as well. Iowa State will for sure be one of the front runners for the conference at this point. I got Louisiana taking on Missouri. Louisiana beating McNeese after a close loss to Rice of all teams. They're taking on Missouri, who beat their rival Kansas in a close game yesterday, and they've won a lot of games in a row. I think their last loss was against South Carolina. So I mean, that team's actually looking pretty good. I thought they'd lose. I think that Kansas game is a big telling point for them. I think they actually look like a good team, especially Kansas is a good team as well. I'll take Missouri, 87% of those. So I don't think it's good. I don't know. I know Louisiana has had some success, but still, I don't think they could compete well in Missouri. And I got UTEP taking on Texas. UTEP won yesterday you beat up Tennessee Martin, so it's got to win. They finally got their first win. Same with Texas. They beat up San Jose State. It's kind of a slow start to that game, but I mean a lot better. But I mean they look a lot better in the game. But Arch Mann actually looked good yesterday. Yes, he's playing a cupcake opponent, but still. I do think Texas is going to win this game. 91% go with them as well. Who else are they playing? What was their other cupcake game? Is it Georgia State? No, it's not Georgia State. Oh, it's Sam Houston. Okay. Now I got South Florida, Miami. Okay, this is actually going to be a great game. South Florida, credit to them. Give them their flowers, man. They went on the road into the swamp, one of the toughest environments to play in, and straight up beat Florida. It's glorious, bro. It is amazing. South Florida looks really good. I mean, that team beat 2 ranked opponents in a row. They're going to be a playoff team at this rate, and they are taking on Miami, who's looked really good. They beat up Beckton and Cookman yesterday, and they did not let the 20-3 curse get to them. It was 20-3 at halftime. So yeah, I mean that team looks good. I think they could definitely be one of the better. I think they could definitely make a run for the ACC this year. But yeah, but this is a tough one to pick honestly because I keep on picking against South Florida, but they keep on proving me wrong. But Miami's a great team, dude. I'm just gonna do it. Just F it. Give me South Florida. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go with them. 34% go with them as well. Miami could definitely win this game, but if he can even get a close game, South Florida's a legit playoff team if they win the AAC. Now I got Middle Tennessee State taking on Nevada. Middle Tennessee State oh man, looked great to start against Wisconsin. They let them score 42 unanswered. So I mean, this is the way it goes, man. Taking on Nevada, who barely beat Sacramento State yesterday. So I mean, they finally got a win, but still. Who thinks to win this game? This is actually a tough one. Both these teams low-key kind of suck, but I'll go Nevada. 86% of those. I'll trust home field advantage at this point. Liberty taking on Bowling Green. Liberty lost to Jacksonville State yesterday, so and which kind of surprised me considering Jacksonville State's got a lot new on that team. But hey, I mean they almost beat UCF, so I'll give them credit there. Taking on Bowling Green, who lost to Cincinnati only by 2 scores, so it could be worse. But there's that. But I'm gonna go Liberty to win this one. 62% go with them as well. We'll see. Maybe Bowling Green can win. Now I got Alcorn State taking on Mississippi State. Alcorn State, I mean, they've lost a few games. They even lost. If you lose to Northwestern State, that's never a good sign. They're taking on Mississippi State, who just pulled off one of the upsets I've ever shown, one of the biggest upsets I've seen. Although to be fair, they almost beat them last year, but they beat Arizona State yesterday at home, and they clutched up in the final seconds. And they beat him with a very quick, very late touchdown. So I mean, Mississippi State, man, definitely look like it's gonna be a better season for them this year. I mean, they already tied the wins over last year. Huge win against Arizona State. So I mean, look at them go, man. I mean, they're definitely looking up for them. Maybe they could actually be a decent team this year. So yeah, but clearly something has happened. So yeah, but I do think Mississippi State's gonna win. 90% go with them as well. I mean, it's Alcorn State, bro, and they're playing at IU next week. So I mean, I don't know. Now I got East Kentucky versus Marshall. East Kentucky beat Houston Baptist, Houston fill in the blank University. So at this point, they got beat up by Louisville. So I mean that's something to watch out for. I mean, but they are taking on a Marshall team who just lost, got crushed by Georgia, lost to Missouri State at home. So I mean definitely a little sketchy there, but I still think they're gonna win this game. 90% go with them as well. Here's one of the more interesting rivalries that doesn't really get talked about that much. We got FAU versus FIU. FAU beat up Florida A&M yesterday, so definitely look like it could be a solid team this year. They're taking on FIU, who got beat up by Kent State, but they actually made Penn State look bad at points, so I'll give them that. But who knows? Who I think is going to win this game? Sorry if you hear the background noise. I'm going to go FAU to win. FAU to win. 67% go. So, I mean, FIU is hosting at Pitbull Stadium. So, yeah, that's the name of the stadium, believe it or not. And look, yes, Pitbull sponsors that stadium. Monmouth taking on Charlotte. Monmouth got two wins. Start off 2-0. They got a close win against Colgate, and they also beat Florida by a few scores. Yeah, they're taking on a Charlotte team. They lost App State, but I mean, their defense didn't look too bad against North Carolina, so I'll give them that. But North Carolina, I mean, they're not looking like a great team, so yeah. But I do think Charlotte will actually win. 84% go with them as well. Tim Albans, I mean, he'll say Ohio's outperforming Charlotte by a lot, so yeah. Now I got Merrimack taking on Kennesaw State. Merrimack, I mean, they almost beat Kent State, but to be fair, they gave Kent State their first win in years, so. And then who's that they beat? They won yesterday by a few. They demolished the team they played yesterday. They're taking on a Kennesaw State team who, I mean, they could be a decent USA team this year. If they got beat up by Indiana, but hey man, this team nearly beat Wake Forest, so I'll give them credit there. Where credit's due, but yeah, I do think Kennesaw's gonna win this game. 90% go with them as well. Now I got Ohio versus. Hold on, let me double check something. Okay, 6:30. Sorry, I just have to go up to the favorite. I like to do it in order. Yeah. Ohio versus Ohio State. Ohio, dude, they look like a legit team, bro. Like, they look like a team that could actually compete for the MAC this year. They almost beat Rutgers. They beat West Virginia, which I actually predicted that game correctly somehow. Ohio looks like a really good team. With that being said, they are taking on Ohio State, which Ohio State is Really good. They beat the crap out of Grand Plains State yesterday, as I was expecting. They also beat Texas. So Ohio, great story and all that. I don't think they're coming close to Ohio State. 86% go with them as well. But hey, we'll see. Maybe it'll make Ohio State look. Maybe don't make Ohio State underperform. We'll see. Just saying. No pun intended. I got Western Michigan taking Illinois. Western Michigan, they choked the game. They lost, of course, after they lost to Michigan State. They were leading on North Texas, and they choked that game away. They lost in overtime. So very similar stories to Baylor SMU. So Western Michigan definitely a lot left to be desired, I guess is what the saying is. But yeah, they got an Illinois team who pulled away from Duke, and yes, Duke made a lot of mistakes, but still, Illinois has actually looked like a legit team this year. Now they haven't really played one amazing yet. I mean, let's be real. West Illinois is an FCS team. They're not gonna compete, and Duke's like a B tier team at best. So yeah, but I'll go Illinois to win this one. 89% go with them as well. Look like a great team this year. But BYU wasn't so much for that team, that's for sure. We got Arkansas taking on Ole Miss. Arkansas looks really good. I mean, they beat Alabama and they beat Arkansas State. I mean, they demolished both first two games. I mean, they scored combined total of 108 points. I mean, that's something that's for sure. And taking on Ole Miss. Taking on Ole Miss team who I mean, they beat Kentucky yesterday. And yes, they had an injury to Austin Simmons starts a little bit, but hey, they got their revenge on Kentucky, and Kentucky usually plays close in the games, to be fair. So yeah. But I mean, honestly, this could be a close game considering Arkansas is yes, I know Ole Miss scored 60 on them, but a lot of those players makers are gone. So yeah, I do think Ole Miss will win. 60% go with them as well. Who knows though? We'll see what happens. Yeah. Now we got Old Dominion taking on Virginia Tech. Old Dominion, they actually gave Indiana a decent game, and then they also beat North Carolina Central, so beat them up a lot. So I mean, Old Dominion definitely looks like they could be a decent team this year. We're taking on Virginia Tech. Had a rough start. I mean, lost South Carolina, lost to Vanderbilt. I mean, you got two SEC teams, but still, Virginia Tech, man, I just don't see much good going for them at this point. So, but I do think they'll win. 86% going to do it. So Old Dominion will probably give them a close game, though. That's for sure. Now we got Prairie View A&M taking on Rice. There's sure a lot of A&Ms in Texas. There's Texas A&M, obviously, East Texas A&M, and you also have whose logo is that? Oh, it's sorry, and there's also Prairie View A&M, which is right outside of Houston. Prairie View A&M, I mean, they beat Texas Southern, but then they lost to UTRGV, who just started playing football. So I mean, that's a little weird, but because yeah, UTRGV this is their first year as a football program. So I mean, yeah, a close game, but still, they're playing a Rice team. We actually beat Louisiana, then they got beat up by their rival Houston, but I do think they'll win. 94% got them as well. Appalachian State versus Southern Miss. App State did not look great against Lindenwood. God, they gotta change that, bro. Yahoo Sports Watchers, please change their initials, bro. It's not Jacksonville or whatever. But App State, I mean, AJ Swanson got 5 touchdowns, so that's cool. Former LSU player, but App State, they're going to Southern Miss. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, they kind of played close against an FCS team, but what do I know? But Southern Miss, on the other hand, they already tend to tie the wins over from last year. But they beat Jackson State yesterday at their loss against Mississippi State. Actually, didn't look too bad in, but yeah, it's Mississippi State. So yeah, but I actually think they're gonna win this game. Only 20% go with them. This is one of those games where people just biased because of record. I do think Southern Miss is gonna win this game. I mean, yes, App State can win it, but still. I got Jacksonville State versus Georgia Southern. Jacksonville State, credit to them. They beat Liberty and almost beat UCF. So lots to be excited. A lot more to be excited for than expected. Yeah, the quarterback isn't throwing a touchdown yet, but still. They're taking on Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern had a rough start season. Lost to Fresno State, lost to USC, so not great there. But I do think Jacksonville State's going to win. Only 34% go to Georgia State can win it too, especially if it's at home. Yeah. I got Murray State taking on Georgia State. Murray State, I remember they were in the College World Series. But their success does not carry over to football as of right now. They lost to East Tennessee State. fought a lot, and they also got crushed by South Houston, Louisiana. So yeah, they're taking on Georgia State, who 2 losses to start the season, 2 tough teams to be fair, but still not great luck. But I do think Georgia State's gonna win. 91% go with them as well. I swear, Georgia State's like the Stanford of the group of 5. They'll like be terrible, then they'll beat a random team. Like they beat Vanderbilt last year. They also beat Texas State last year out of nowhere. But yeah. But now we have here's what could be game of the week. We have Texas A&M versus Notre Dame, who hasn't won a game yet this year. To be fair, they were off last week, this past week, but still. Texas A&M, they beat UTSA and Utah State the first 2 weeks. So their defense definitely looks a little bit shaky, but I mean, I know Marcel Reed's got 7 touchdowns or a rushing touchdown as well. So definitely some good stuff for them, but like their defense definitely looks kind of suspicious. So I got to be cautious for that. They're taking on Notre Dame, who just lost to Miami, but they had a bye week to rest for this game, so I do think they'll win this game. 66% go them. So I'll plus think they're a better team at this point. Now we got University of Massachusetts taking on Iowa. Oh my god. UMass, you joined a conference, you haven't won a game yet. UMass is one of the worst teams in the FBS. I'm sorry. UConn should join the MAC, not UMass, but they lost to Bryant. And Bryant's not even that good, bro. How do you lose to Bryant of all teams? Bro, how does that even happen? What do I know? UMass is not looking very good this year. They're way out of the playoff race at this point. I'm sorry, UMass, but nothing against the university, but still not great. They're taking on Iowa. This Iowa team, they look like Iowa. That's for sure. Not really much of an offense, but your defense looks good. But hey, it's the Iowa way. But they lost Iowa State yesterday in a close game. But it's another last game against another lost hot trophy because of a late field goal. But yeah, but Iowa. I mean, Kirk Ferentz could actually break the record for win total in Big Ten yesterday. Big Ten coaches for this week, and I think they will beat UMass. Give Iowa 19% go them as well. Will they score more than 40 points? I don't know. New Mexico State taking on Louisiana Tech. New Mexico State, I mean, they beat Tulsa yesterday, and they also beat Bryant, something UMass couldn't do. They're still 2-0, so give them credit there. And they're taking on Louisiana Tech, team who shut South Louisiana. Yes, they lost LSU, but they actually looked a lot better than I thought. Kind of scared me a little bit, but Louisiana Tech's defense, honestly, could be one of those that could like make a difference in the CUSA this year. Louisiana Tech, man, credit to them where credit's due. I mean, they only held LSU to 23 points. So I mean, on the road. So I mean, Louisiana Tech I think could be a good team this year. I'm not just saying that because LSU struggled, but I'm saying that because that genuinely, yes, LSU struggled. I'm not saying that just because they struggled, but I think Louisiana Tech could actually be a good team this year. They had some close games last year, so yeah, I think they reverse those games, they'll be good. But give me Louisiana Tech. 77% go with them as well. I almost forgot my own game. Now we got Florida versus undefeated LSU, baby. Florida just came off a tough loss against USF, but to be fair, USF's a really good team. Florida, but I think they could definitely still be a really good team this year. I mean, look at Notre Dame. They lost to Northern Illinois, and then they still made the playoffs and the national championship as well. So Florida, I mean, they're going to be very angry in this game, obviously, as they take one, it's a rival, and two, they're very mad about last week. They're taking on an LSU team who kind of looks shaky against Louisiana Tech, to be honest with you. But they haven't lost since before I even turned since I was 16 years old. They haven't lost since November 16th, 2024. So actually, their last loss was actually against Florida. So yeah, but LSU definitely looked kind of shaky yesterday. Some injuries might be a little bit of a concern. So Jared Green and one of their linemen went down. But I think a lot of it's their guys stopped from Clemson. But they have a big win against Clemson. They also now who knows if Clemson's actually a legit team. That's to be seen. They didn't look as good as I thought. So but that defense could definitely be a difference maker, that's for sure, which is a weird thing for LSU. Yeah, but who I think's going to win this game? This is tough. I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm going to take LSU. 64% got them as well. Florida could definitely win that game. I'm just saying. Just saying. We now got EMU. East Michigan taking on Kentucky. East Michigan. What happened? You lost to Long Island University. How does that even happen? You lost to the same team that got shut up at Florida the week before. I mean, East Michigan's not looking good at all this year, bro. What? Tyler Lockett Jr.? Like, what is happening with this team, bro? I can't even explain at this point. They take on Kentucky, who gave actually Ole Miss a close game, but in the end they didn't win it. But to be fair, they always give people close games, yet they still suck somehow. But okay, I think they definitely could be a better team than last year, but that offense is definitely suspicious. Especially Zach House hasn't scored a single touchdown yet, but I do think West Kentucky is a much better team than Eastern Michigan. 90% go with them as well. East Kentucky versus Coastal Carolina. Not East Kentucky. East Carolina versus Coastal Carolina. And we got the Battle of the Carolinas here. East Carolina beat out Campbell that they're close loss against NC State. So I think a lot to be happy about for East Carolina. You're taking on Coastal Carolina, who shut out Charleston Southern last year. Yeah, their offense didn't look great, but their defense looked really good. So I mean, Eastern Carolina could definitely get trapped by the defense, but Coastal Carolina, we'll see what happens. I mean, they're great baseball, obviously, but yeah. But I do think East Carolina's going to win. 67% go with them as well. Now we got Vandy versus South Carolina. Two of the daddies of Virginia Tech. Vandy, they beat up Virginia Tech yesterday. This is a legit team. I'm telling you right now, this is a legit team. People have been sleeping on this team left and right, bro. I just say that, they just completely fall off. But people are sleeping on this team, bro. I'm telling you right now, this team is actually a good team. Like Vanderbilt, I argue they could be ranked. But Diego Pavia's done great. 5 touchdowns start the season. It's looking good there. They're taking on, actually has better stats than Norris Sellers, ironically, at least passing-wise. Taking on South Carolina, who actually didn't do as good against Virginia Tech, but they beat up South Carolina State yesterday. But there's that. But South Carolina definitely is a good team, still a really good team. But I think this definitely could be a trap game for them because there's a lot of trap games. So yeah. But there's that. But we'll see what happens. Overall, this is actually a tough one. I think either of these teams can win. I mean, we could base off how they play against Virginia Tech, but South Carolina, to be fair, they beat Virginia Tech, but they didn't play as good at a neutral location compared to Vandy, where they beat him on the road and beat him by a lot, too. I'm going to go Vanderbilt. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling they're going to win this game. 25% go with them. And South Carolina could for sure win this game, obviously. I just have a weird feeling Vanderbilt's going to win that game. I mean, they beat Alabama last year. No one knew. No one even saw it coming, too. I got Utah on the road to Wyoming. What a weird matchup there. But Utah, they've looked really good. They beat up UCLA. They beat up Cal Poly, scoring 106 points combined with 11, scoring 19 on the other side. On defense, obviously. But Utah, they look really good. Definitely one of the more stable teams in the Big 12 at this point, which is very weird to say considering they fell off last year. But they're taking on Wyoming, who's 2-0. They're actually retiring Josh Allen's number in a few weeks. Yeah, but Caden Anderson, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not bad, I guess, but he definitely could be better, I guess, for the first few games. But they shut out Akron, and they also beat out Northern Iowa. So I think they'll be a better team than last year. With that being said, they are taking on Utah. 81% go with Utah, and that's what I'm going with as well. Now we got the Battle of the Christians here. Should I call them Abilene Baptist? And at least they actually labeled the names correctly, like Houston Baptist or Houston Christian, whatever it's called. Now we got Abilene Christian taking on Texas Christian. So the Battle of the Christians here. Abilene Christian, I mean, I thought they beat Tulsa, honestly, but they got crushed by Tulsa. Let's be real. And they beat Santa. Why do I keep calling Santa Fe? I'm so stupid. Stephen of SFA. They beat Santa. Oh, God, I'm sorry to everyone SFA, especially my second grade teacher, Miss Warden. I'm so sorry. But they beat CFB Austin last week. Some credit there. It's a close game, but still. Allen Christian definitely is one of the better FCS teams. I know they lost a lot. I believe they lost most of their players to Western Kentucky, so there's that. They are taking on TCU, who looked really good against North Carolina. I mean, they spoiled that. They spoiled the debut, bro, for Bill Belichick. They have not lost a game since they lost to Baylor very early in November, so... this team is one of the hottest teams in the Big 12, I'd argue, at this point. I could see them being a contender in the Big 12, especially how they play North Carolina. Like, I honestly put them on the same level with Utah at this point. I don't know, but, I mean, yes, it's one game, but still. But TCU looks very good. Their offense looks great. And I think that team could be a contender for the Big 12 this year. That's for sure. I mean, they have less losses than Arizona State, but more the same amount of wins, ironically. Yeah. But yeah, to be fair, they had an off week last week. Very weird time to have an off week, but what do I know? But yes, I know. Okay, with this being said, Allen Christian almost beat Texas Tech last year. They literally went to overtime. Yes, Texas Tech won, but still. Allen Christian shows they could compete with really good teams. But I do think TCU is a better team than Texas Tech was last year. And I think I trust their defense. Plus, Allen Christian lost to Tulsa, so I'll go TCU to win this game. 91% go to 12. This was last year. Allen Christian could probably compete with them, but I don't think TCU's going to win that game. Now I got Duke taking on Tulane. Duke made so many mistakes. So many turnovers. That game got away from them, that to be fair, against Iowa. They actually looked, because they're actually competing with them, but like, just could have closed it out, man. Just like, lots of mistakes. You say Duke definitely has potential still, but they got to cut down those mistakes. Taking on Tulane, Derry Minshaw is actually taking on his former team on the road against Tulane, who's somehow hosting 2 power conference opponents in 1 year. Yeah, but they played a really close game against South Alabama yesterday, which kind of surprised me, but what do I know? But Jake Retzlaff, I mean, he had some great moments. Like, rushing-wise, I mean, 2 rush touchdowns and 2 pass touchdowns. Definitely mobile quarterback, and I think, yes, and I get the controversy, but like Tulane get the really good quarterback from BYU. Who to win this game? This one's tough. I want to go Tulane. Nice, 69% go with them as well. Them and South Florida will be fighting for that playoff spot. We're fighting for the AAC at least. Yeah, they had Navy on the road. Told us up. Navy definitely. I thought they'd do better against UAB, but I mean they won the game. I mean that Blake Horvath is 2 touchdowns, but 80% completion. Yeah, they run the ball most of the time, but still. Navy, I think, it definitely going to be one of those contenders to the AAC this year, but I mean, are they on the same level as USF? I mean, probably not, but still, big boys, right? They're taking on Tulsa, who lost New Mexico State in a close game. So, I mean, going off a loss, but I mean, hey, man, you beat the same team. I know they beat Texas Tech, yeah, but with that being said, I do think Navy's going to win this game. 87% go though, so I think they're a much better team at this point. What the heck? There we go. Now I got Akron taking on UAB. Akron looks very bad, bro. They haven't scored a single point all season. That is actually embarrassing. With that being said, they're taking on UAB, who has an awful defense based on the scores. I mean, 52, 40. Alabama State scored 42. I mean, they actually did better last week a little bit. But still. UAB, though, I mean, this is honestly the tank bowl at this point. Obviously, and of course, Akron doesn't have anything to fight for at this point because no bowl game this year. Yeah, but UAB definitely look like they could. I think they'll probably win this game. I guess. I mean, they're not very good, but I think they'll beat Akron. I think they're better than Akron. 93% go with them. So here's how bad Akron is, bro. Air Force taking on Utah State. Air Force had an off week. The rest is they beat up Bucknell last week, or a few weeks ago. So I mean, and Air Force had some time. The rest they're taking on Utah State, who scored 22 in A&M. That's a very suspicious A&M defense. They beat UTEP, so they're coming off a loss, but with them hosting this game, I think this could definitely be a good game for them. But I mean, I don't know. I'll take Utah State. This one's a tough one. 26. Actually, I'll go Air Force. 74% go with them. So we'll see though. I mean, it could be close. Air Force has played one game against an FCS team, so kind of hard. Southern taking on Fresno State. Man, these week 0 teams are taking on each other. It seems like Southern they beat Mississippi Valley State. Yeah, Mississippi Valley State ain't that good, but still. Well, they're not good in basketball at least. I don't know about football. They got beat up by Alabama State last week. Fresno State. After that, Kansas State. After that Kansas loss, they beat up Georgia Southern. They beat Oregon State. So, credit to them, man. They're actually turning it around. And E.J. Warner, 5 interceptions is not good, but and no touchdowns. But he got Southern, which is a very random matchup. But I'll take Fresno. 87% go though. So I think they're much better team than Southern at this point. Now I got Texas State versus Arizona State. Texas State had a crazy game with UTSA yesterday. 43-36. They scored a combined total of 79 points, which ironically, I think someone actually said UTSA versus Texas State would be combined 80 or more points, which was so close. They're taking out Arizona State, who just lost to Mississippi State, bro. How does that even happen? Arizona State definitely doesn't look as good without Scadaboo, who was a huge part of that team, not just like on the field, but like he was a leader of the team as well. So, yeah. But with that being said, I think this could be a really good game, honestly, because Texas State is a good team, but I do think Arizona State's going to win. 82% go, though, so I think they'll avenge their loss from last week. Yeah. Now we got... Oh, this is kind of a random match at two completely different places taking on each other. We got Minnesota on the road to Cal. Minnesota looked really good against Northwest State. They actually brutalized them. As they were up, like I said, they were up 59-0 halftime. They could have scored 100 on them if they really wanted to. But out of respect for the game of football, they decided just to lay off for a bit. They're taking on Cal, who actually looks good. They beat Oregon State. They beat up Texas Southern. So definitely some good stuff going there. Their quarterback, Sagapoluteli. What a weird name, but complicated name. But Cal, I think, could definitely win this game. Honestly, I thought they'd lose to Oregon State. But hey, no, Oregon State doesn't look that good, to be fair. But I do think Minnesota's going to win. 60% got them. So, hey, man, Cal can win too. Especially being at home. They almost beat Miami last year. So, yeah. And I got Boston College taking out Stanford. Boston College, very, very close game yesterday. But in the end, Michigan State won that game. But so definitely a lot left to be decided there. But they're taking on Stanford, who got beat up by BYU. And Stanford just does not look that good, honestly. I thought BYU scored more on them, still. I'm not going Stanford. Give me Boston College. 81% goes them as well. Stanford, if anything, they can win this game. Boston College doesn't look that good. It isn't supposed to be that good of a team this year. Last but not least, at 11 p.m. I'll probably be... Actually, it's homecoming night, so... I'm actually going to homecoming dance on Saturday, so I won't be able to watch some of these... I won't be able to watch LSU play. That kind of sucks, but at least at home. But yeah. Well, I can't watch LSU play. Well, I could probably watch them on my phone, but still. I got Portland State taking on Hawaii. Portland State, they look awful, honestly. How do they look yesterday? I don't know. At least they scored points on North Dakota. I'll give them credit. A lot shot by Tarleton State. Yes, to be fair, they beat the U.S. Army, but still. And in the 69, nice, nothing. Shout out to BYU. And they are taking on Hawaii, who actually could be a decent team. They beat Sam Houston yesterday. So yeah, but I'm gonna go with Hawaii to win. 95% go with them as well. There's that. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'll post the record of my picks later some point this week. I don't know. So soon, yeah. But NFL starts in 50 minutes. I'm gonna watch the Saints play. So yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, have a nice day, and goodbye. See you next one. Peace.